Hello everyone, welcome back to my 4-Star School YouTube channel. In today's lesson, we are going to build the novel book application using the Flutter, but also we're going to implement the dynamic theme changing using the skeleton project from the Flutter. As you see, we have these theme button on the top right corner. When I click it, this entire application will turn to the line mode and same as for those books. You see when I click the book detail, the font and the button and the color is under the line mode, and we can turn it to the dark mode. And when I click the book detail, all the text and the button change to dark mode, right? And also we have this slider for the coloring book, and this is a quite interesting project because we're going to using a Flutter skeleton template to create this entire application. You can using a Flutter command to create a skeleton project after you upgrade your Flutter SDK to 2.5. If you are new here, feel free to reach out to my channel page and you will find a Flutter UI from scratch tutorial and Flutter tutorial for the beginners, which I will talk about the most commonly used Flutter widget. And also I have created a dark tutorial for the beginner. And feel free to subscribe to my channel and thumb up my content and open the notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. So first we're going to do some project setup. Let's open our terminal and go to our workspace. In the workspace, we could use Flutter create skeleton this command which create our dark mode application, and we hit enter. Just wait a few seconds. Yeah, it's successful, and then we can use VS Code. We could cd the dark mode app, right? In there we could using the command like if you install a Visual Studio Code, you can run this code and you will start the Visual Studio and launch your application, the folder, but we can launch it manually. So let's open our Visual Studio Code and we can open here, and we're going to find our project and the dark mode app, and we can hit save, and you see we create this dark mode app using the Flutter skeleton template. It's quite different than we're using a Flutter create command, because in here we have this src folder and we have this localization, this different screen, and also the setting and the app. You will see we have something error because I think we need to run this spec YAML file. We need to install a dependence, so we hit this button which trigger get a Flutter get pub get. Just wait few minutes and you will see the error is gone, right? And we're going to use this one to create our dynamic theme changing application. And I can quickly walk through this application. So for the theme, in the skeleton project, we have this theme server which inject our theme. So we could using this to get our theme mode either by local storage, which you're using the share preference package, or you can load from the remote network. So here we return this future theme mode, right? And we have this controller. You can update the theme mode from these setting servers. and then we have this setting controller. We receive this setting server, which is here, right? But you see this setting controller actually using this maxim, which is a change notifier, because we're using animate builder. We're going to tell the child we render this application, we're changing the theme, so we implement this maxim change notifier, and you see we have this notify listener, which for the child we have a changing in our data, which is our theme mode, right? In here we inject our setting server, so we have a setting server attribute and inject with this constructor, and then we have this theme mode. We loading this setting. The theme mode is using the late keyword, so it don't have it guarantee it will have the value. So because we call this loading settings method, so you will get these theme mode data from our setting servers, right? So we call this method, and this method will return the theme mode, which is the theme mode.system, right? So we need to code this one, and we notify our listener, and you see our app.dar, and let's see. Oh, I think it should inside this main.dar. So in the main.dar, first we initialize this setting controller with our setting server, and then we immediately call this load settings. So that means we can get this setting theme mode, right, from our setting server. And then we have this method, which is update the theme mode. We're going to pass the new theme mode, and we're going to change it, right? So first we need to check we have some condition. If it equals none, just return. We don't change anything. If they are equals, we also return, because no way we're not going to change anything as well. Otherwise, we change the theme mode to the new theme mode, and we call this method, which is the notify listener, till the child. We have changed this theme mode because we implement this setting controller with this change notifier, and then we call this setting server update the theme mode. You see this setting server will update the theme mode. Right, we pass the theme, and I think that's it. So let's a quick walkthrough for this setting controller and setting server, which we're going to use. And next we're going to do some project setup. And also you will notice we create this project using a Flutter skeleton template, right? So by default you create this assets folder for us, and in this pub species YAML file you also import this folder for us, so we could just move our image under this image folder, right? So let's check our assets, which is inside this image folder. So we're going to delete this image folder, right? And we're going to import our image, right? So, and we don't need to change anything since it already implemented for us. Okay, and that's for these assets. And then we're going to create some folder under this src folder. So the first one is our models folder. We're going to create a book model, so for each of those books, and also we're going to have a page folder, and we're going to delete this simple feature, right? We're going to delete it, so you'll cause error, but we're going to fix it later. So, and next is our theme folder. Okay, should be a theme folder, and inside this theme folder we're going to create a file. I'm going to call it theme.dar, and actually we're going to define our themes, the light theme and dark theme, and we using or implement this color scheme attribute. When you move your mouse, you see it. You set this color scheme to light. By default, you will implement these light color for you, which is suitable for the light mode, and you have this dark as well, this then constructor for the dark mode, right? But we're going to override it is a secondary color because we have this one, which is in the light mode. I'm going to turn it to light gray. In the dark mode, I'm going to turn it to dark gray. So you see this gray 300 will be very light for this input. So in the dark mode, I just turn it to black. Okay, this is for our theme, and we're going to use. So the reason I think in here, in here we only change it is theme, right? Change to theme mode to from dark to light, but we also need to pass our custom defined theme, right? In this case, which is this themes class, right? We're going to save it, so we can close it, and then we move to this app.dar. So we're going to remove those two import statements, and let's see, and we're going to delete everything for this switch statement, the case. So for the routing, just return our home page. So we're going to create a home folder under this pages folder, and also the detail folder, right? In the phone folder, we're going to create our home.dar and also the widgets folder for our home widget. So inside this home.dar, it's very straightforward, just a normal stateless widget. I just call it homepage, right? And then we're going to import a library. Also make the key nullable. And we're going to define an attribute since we change this button to the theme button. We're going to, when I click this button, it changed from dark mode to light mode. So in this home page, we're going to receive our setting controller, which I can dynamic changing the theme. So let's declare an attribute, which is our settings controller, right? Okay, should be settings controller, and we can import a library. Okay, so setting controller, and I'm going to call it settings controller, right? And we're going to import library. I think the Flutter automatic import for us. And for this constructor, I'm going to add this required label for this setting controller, right? And we're going to remove this constant keyword. Okay, actually we can keep it. So require, should be this start setting controller, right? Okay, let's save for the setting controller. Add a command here. So it will format more pretty, right? For this container, just very simple scaffold widget. And we have a body attribute, and we have a okay. Let's see. Okay, let's make it center. So we have a child widget, right? And we have a text widget indicate this is our home page. Right? So here we can make it constant, and we save. Then we're going to use this home page in our app.dar, right? And you see in here, we actually in the main.dar we declare our setting controller, and we pass through to my app. So in here we can actually get this setting controller, and we could pass to our home.dar, right? So in here, I'm going to return our home page, and also we have a required attribute, which is setting controller. I'm going to use the setting controller here, right? And not. Let's see. Yes, the setting controller. I'm going to use it. Cannot be assigned. Okay, constant. Remove this constant. Okay, and let's save. I think, and then we can trying to run this entire application. So let's go this make.dar. Let's hit this run button. So first time it will take us a few minutes. So we just need to wait until we see our application show on our emulator screen. Okay, now you see we have this homepage screen show on our emulator. So I think we could start from this point, but first I'm going to remove this status bar, which I'm going to set the color to transparent so you cannot see it, and also I'm going to set this debug show banner to false. So let's go into our app.dar. So inside this build method, we're going to use system cron set system UI overlay style, and I'm going to change it to constant system. I'm going to change the state. It should be system style, and we have the status bar color. I'm going to set to colors transparent, right? And that's it. And we're going to save. This will hide our status bar, and also inside this material app, we're going to find this attribute, a debug show checked mode banner. I'm going to set to false, right? And we save it. Okay, it seems pretty good. And you see, I'm going to change here in line 63 for this theme, because you see we already define our own theme, right? In here we have our light theme and dark theme, so we're going to use it. So here I'm going to remove this theme data, and I'm going to use the theme I declare, which okay, so I think I need to import library. Okay, import library, and this case would be theme.light theme, right? And same for the dark theme. So we're going to use our own theme, which is the dark theme, right? And we can save it. So for the theme mode, which is correct, came from the setting controller theme mode. And you see setting controller theme mode will actually from where? From the setting server, which is this one. And since our UI is default dark mode, so I'm going to change the theme mode to dark by default, and we can close it, right? And same for here, we can close it. So we're going to restart our application. Since we change, I'm going to rebuild this application. Yeah, you see, now we have the dark mode by default, and we can start from this point. So I think we don't need this theme view, right? So I can delete it, and we close this one. For the app bar, I'm going to app.dar. We're going to remove this unused import, right? And we could start from this point. Yeah, pretty much. And so first we're going to implement which is this search bar with our theme changing icon on the right, right? So let's find our widget.dar. So inside this widget.dar, here I'm going to call it custom add bar .dar. So let's create a stateless widget for our custom add bar, right? And import library. Also make this key nullable. As I mentioned, we're going to change this notification icon to the theme icon. So that's which we're going to use our setting controller to dynamic changing the theme. So here I will import our make an attribute which is called setting controller, right? And also put the required keyword for the setting controller. And I'm going to pass it from outside, right? And we're going to save it. Also for this inner, so make it simple, custom add bar, so you could save it. And in our home.dar, we're going to replace this center widget with this list view, and we have a children attribute inside our list view, right? Okay, and remove this constant keyword. Inside this list view, we have our custom app bar with our setting controller, right? And we can save it. And now you're able to see this custom app bar shown here. Okay, and we could start from this point. So first you see we can make these as a row widget, and inside we have this text form text field, right? Another one would be our container icon button, right? So for these container, I'm going to set a padding. We have a constant edged inset. We could use this symmetric, make a horizontal 20, right? And for it is child, as I mentioned, I'm going to use a row widget, and we have a children attribute. Inside this children, we have first this text field, right? And also in order to make it, how to say, I'm going to use an expanded widget to wrap this text field, because we have this icon button, right? So I want this text field to expand the rest of the space. So let's wrap this text field with expanded widget. Okay, expanded widget. And under expanded widget, we have our icon button. So for the icon button, we have a icon and on press, right? For on press, and also we have an icon, which is required. Those two is required. So for the icon, we're going to use the material icon, but we need to do some condition check. So first, we're going to check the settings controller.cmode, right? You can access the cmode because in here we have this get cmode, right? You will return the cmode which from the setting server, which is this cmode.dar, right? So in here we could, let me close those unused file. In here we could check if it is equal to cmode.light. If it's cmode.light, we're going to use icons dark mode rounded, right? And otherwise I just use the light mode rounded. Yeah, seems good, right? And I think we could save it, and you're able to see these light, right? Because we have a dark mode. So you see this statement turned to false. So we're going to render this line, so which is light mode, so which is this one, right? Because we have the dark mode. So when I click this sum button, it's going to change to the light mode. Okay, so we're going to do something in this onPressed method. In the onPress, so we're going to use our setting controller. You see we have this update theme mode, right? So in this one, update theme mode, we could check it again. If it equals, if settings controller dot theme mode, if equals theme mode dot light, we're going to change theme mode dot dark. So otherwise, just theme mode dot light, right? Yes, and then we can save it. And I think now we are good to go. We are able to change dynamic changing the theme, because when you press this button, it will trigger this update theme mode, and you see the update theme mode will actually change the theme mode and notify it is a trial, so you will know, because we are inside these say this animated builder. So for the animation, we're using this setting controller, right? So you actually it's a listenable. You will notify this one, which is re-render this page. Okay, let's text this button. So first, I click the sum icon. You will turn to light mode, and also this icon will change to the moon, right? When I click it, it change to sum icon, and also it change to the dark mode. Yeah, it seems it worked, right? If you click this button, it doesn't work. You may need to restart this application. Just hit this restart button. Okay, so we could keep implement this input search input, right, inside this text field. So inside this text field, we're going to implement this decoration attribute. We use input decoration, right? In this input decoration, we're going to fill our color, so we set to true. And for fill color, we could use theme of context, which get our custom defined theme, and check this color theme dot secondary. So let's see why I use this secondary, and let's go back to our theme, right? Because for this one, in the dark theme, I want it using the black color, but in the light theme, I just want it using the gray color. So I choose this secondary color, as you see here, and I could save it, and you're going to see when I change to the light mode, you see this one it changed to the gray. Okay, yeah, I think it works. So we go to the next. So next one is the border. You see we're going to remove the border, so I could use outline input border. Inside we change the border radius, use the border radius circular 15 is enough, and also the border size just set to the num, right? Border size num. Okay, so let's save. Okay, seems good, huh? And okay, moving on, we can change it is content type, content padding. So constant inset dot symmetric vertical set to 0. Okay, let's save. Yeah, it becomes smaller, and next attribute is prefix icon. So we're using the material icon. So okay, which is icons the search outline, right? And we have a color. So the color, you see in the dark mode we have a white color, and in the light mode we have a dark color. So let's back to our theme, and in our light constructor, you see by default, if it's a light mode, we want something black. You see those three attributes actually have a black color. So in this case, we could use on secondary or on servers on background. So here I just choose on surface, right? So same for this dark constructor. So you see we have this one. When you're in the dark mode, the color would be the white color, right? So oh, actually those two. Sorry for mistake. Yeah, only those two. In the dark mode we have a white color. In the light mode we have a black color. So you could use either on surface or on the background. So let's back to this icon. So I'm going to use theme of context. We could access to our color scheme on surface, okay, and going to have size 30 simna, okay, and let's save, and you'll see we have this white icon, and when I turn to the light mode, it actually changed to black, right? You see, yeah, works pretty good, huh? And next we're going to write our heme text, which is search book here, okay, and next is the heme style, okay, sorry, should be inside here, heme style, actually I'm going to use text style, we're going to change it color to gray, 600, so let's save. You see, if you manually set these from this text color, whenever you change to light mode or dark mode, it didn't take any effect, right? You see, it's still the gray color because you manually change it. So if you want to dynamic change, so you're going to use something from this color theme, right? So you will make a dynamic changing. So if you manually set its color, so the color will be fixed. So no matter what kind of theme mode, it's still the gray color. Okay, so we could keep in this case because it seems good, right? Okay, I think we finished the custom app bar. So next we're going to implement this upcoming book. Okay, let's create the coming book.dart file under the widgets folder. Call it coming book.dart, right? And it should be a stateless widget. Coming book, right? And let's import a library and make the key nullable. And let's simple just display this coming book, and we're going to use it in our home.dart. Under this custom app bar, we have a coming book, right? So let's save, and you're able to see this coming book show up, right? For this coming book, we're going to use the third-party library, which is smooth page indicator, right? Because you see we have this one, this page indicator. So I think we could use these expanding dots, right? So let's import a library, and under this pub cbc YAML file, and under this Flutter localization, okay, so we import a smooth page indicator. So let's save and close, and in here, we could import library in here. Okay, so for this book, coming book, we have 3. Let's see. Okay, so I think we need to okay, save it again. Okay, so in here we have 3 image for the coming book. So I'm going to create a list contain the 3 coming book. I'll make it final. Upcoming. Okay, upcoming. And we have 3 assets. Image upcoming one. .jpg. So we could just copy that and change to 2 and 3, right? And remove this constant keyword. And then we're going to have our page controller. So let's make a page controller. Okay, I'm going to use page controller in here. So for this container, first give it some padding. As usual, we're using the margin constant. Edge inset. We're using the symmetric for the vertical 20 and horizontal 10 is enough. So let's save. Okay, that's pretty good. And for it is a child. So first we're going to keep the height for this container. So let's make it 120. For it is a child, I'm going to use a stack widget since we have this page indicator on the bottom left side. So let's use a stack widget. I have a children, so the children will be our page view, right? And under the page view, we have another position widget. See, should be position widget, right? In the position widget, we have we have a child attribute. So in the child, it should be a smooth page indicator, right? And I'm going to use our, so first going to require the controller. So the controller will from here, the page controller, right? And the other one would be the, which one is this count? So the count would be from our upcomings.len. Okay, so let's save. You're able to see we have a 3, right? 3 indicator. So we're going to style it later. So for first, for these page view, so inside the page view, we're going to attach the controller. Will be our page controller as well. And for it is children, right? So for the children, I'm going to render these upcomings and map, right? And it will return iteratable object. We're going to turn to a list, right? So inside we're going to, let's see, we're going to return another stack widget because we have the title text. So I'm going to use another stack widget, right? And inside the stack widget, I'm going to set the feed using stack.expand, right? By default, it's a start loosed, so I changed to expand because I want this image to occupy as much as it is parent. So I change it to expand, right? And for it is children, so the children will be this image and this title text and this a description text. So we could start from our image. Okay, but you see we have these a gradient color from black to white. So we're going to implement the same effect in this case. So first I just give a container, right? And the color would be white. So I'm going to change it later. So let's see. We have our container, you see, container is shown here. Okay, and we're going to make this gradient style. So let's implement another container under it. So we're going to change it. So first for it is margin, and changing to const h symmetric and horizontal. Change to 10. Okay, I will going to the reason I set the margin because how to say, when you move one page to another, if you didn't give the padding, so you will tie very together. So I'm going to give the image the padding. So for these a gradient backdrop, I'm going to have this margin, and we have a line from the bottom. Okay, so yeah, we could remove this line. For it is decoration, I will use box decoration, and we have border radius. I'm going to set to 15. Border radius dot circular 15, and also the gradient. I use a linear gradient, right? And linear gradient, we have a begin, which is align dot center left. We have end, which align center right. Alignment center right, and also the colors. Colors black, and color the black 45, and color the black 12, and colors the black with opacity 0. Okay, and save. Okay, you see this shape, right? So because we're going to, for this padding, we don't have any, for the first container we don't set it is padding. So you see when you scroll it type together, right? So let's make a margin for that one as well. And you see, if I make the margin, when I scroll this page view, you see actually we have a gap between the first page view and the second one. So we have a gap. So that's what I want, right? And we will replace this container to the image. But here I just show you how we can make these backdrop effect using this gradient, linear gradient, right? Okay, so let's back to change our first container to our image. So for it is child, so we could use clip rect, going to cut it. So we use border radius, circular, make it 15 as well. Also the child would be image.ss element, right? And we have a feet box feet dot cover. Oh, sorry, this should be inside the image. Box feet. Okay, so let's save. And you're able to see this. Okay. Yeah. The reason I think is not obvious because the image is kind of quite dark, right? So it's hard to see this gradient. But for the first image, you'll see we have a very dark on the left side and white on the right side. Okay, so we actually implement this effect, right? Using these linear gradient, right? Okay. Okay, that's for our image. So under this container, we're going to implement the text. So which would be the so I could use the constant position widget, right? We have a child, so it's very simple, just a text widget. Okay, it should be inside this stack widget. Okay, so for the child, we have a text, upcoming book. Okay, and we're going to style it, and we're using a text style. So changing the font size, 24, and also the color. Remember, we changed the color manually, so when we change the theme mode, it doesn't affect, right? So let's save. Okay, also we need to position it. So for the left, it would be 30, and top would be 20. So let's save. Yeah, theme's good. And remember, when I change the theme, it doesn't take any effect because we manually set a color. If you want it change according to the theme, so you're going to use theme.offContext to grab our theme object, and you can access the color here using those colors. So then you will dynamically change. So I think in this case we don't need to. So I just use the hard-code color. Okay, same for the other one. So the first one is upcoming text. So I think for the other one would be 3 class, new books coming with various games are waiting for you. Okay, and for the size 10 to 12. Okay, let's save. Okay, so for this one, top left still 30, but top changed to 55. Okay, let's save. Okay, now it seems good. Okay, so for the last one, we're going to change this page indicator. We're going to style it, right? So for our page indicator, let's see, we have this effect attribute. So we can use expanded dot effect, this one, and we're going to change the expansion factor to 4, and also dot y to 8, make it smaller since this one is too big, and dot high to 8 as well, and spacing 4, and active dot color, going to all colors dot y, so it should be active. Okay, So let's for this one, and also changing its position, left 30 and bottom 10. So let's save. Let's save. Okay, now you see we make a pretty similar effect, right? Okay, that's pretty good, huh? And also we have another attribute which is on dot clicked, right? Because when you click this dot, it didn't change this page. So we have another function which is on dot click. We're going to receive our index. So we could using our page controller dot animate to page. So we're going to change the page to index, right? And also for the duration, we could use constant duration. Okay, capital duration, millisecond, 300. And for the curves, so curves is in out. Okay, so let's save. Now when you click this dot, this page will be changed, right? See? Okay, I think we finished this part, this upcoming books part, right? So next we're going to implement this recommended book. Okay, before we actually create this recommended book widget, I think we need to create a book model. So let's create book.dar under this models folder, right? So here I'll create a class called book, and let's see, we have this background image, and we have the book name, the book author, the book score, review, and how many people viewed, and the description, and also the type. So I'm going to have a string image URL and a string name, string author, and number score, and number review, and number views as well. Have a list of string, which is type, and string description. Okay, so we have a book constructor, this dot image, and this dot name. Since we don't have too much attribute, so we could just using the required. You can use a name parameter if you have more than 10 attribute. So author, and this dot score, this dot review, this dot view, and this dot type, this dot description. So by using name parameter, you can use these curly bracket, right? And you're going to make a required keyword. So for all of them, okay. So if you want to do this required keyword for all of them, so you can make this key nullable. You see, you make the key nullable. Okay. And you can remove those required keyword. So either way is fine. So I show you 3 different ways. You can remove this curly bracket, make it required by default, and otherwise you can make this attribute nullable, and you can use this name parameter. Okay, so and after that we're going to create 2 methods. One is for create a list of recommended book, which is here, and also another one is create a list of training book. So I'm going to use our first approach, and let's create a list of book. So the first one is a list of a recommended book, right? We have a list of book object, and also we have a list of generate a training book static method, return a list of static training books. Okay, so let's save, and we can close it, and then we can implement this recommended book widget. So as you see, we have those two titles are almost the same, so we could write a common widget for those two. So let's back to our home folder. So inside this widget folder, we're going to create another category title.dar, right? Which is a stateless widget. Stateless widget. Call it category title, right? And import library. Make the key nullable. So we're going to receive a string or a title, right? And this dot title. So inside, we're going to set a padding, constant patched inset symmetric, horizontal, set to 20, right? And for it is child, we're going to use a row widget. Okay, row widget. We have a children attribute, so I'm going to set this main axis alignment to space between. And for the first row will be a text. I receive a title, and also we style it and using text style. So inside we have font size set to 18, and also we have a font weight. There's a font weight dot bold. You notice we didn't set the color because we want using this sim to changing the color. If you didn't set the color will come from here, light. So I think would be the black color. Okay, so let's close. If in a dark mode, it would be a white color. If in a white mode, it would be a black color. So add the constant keyword, right? And for the second one, it's a text widget. See more. I'm going to copy this one. But here, I think we need to change the font size to 14. Maybe you can remove it. And for this one, remove as well. But we're going to change the color to gray. Okay. So let's save. And let's try to import this category in our should be a recommended book. Book.tar. So let's create, and it should be a stateless widget. So let's import library and make the key nullable. So here going to return a colon. Child. So we could use our category title, right? So let's import library, and we're going to pass recommended for you. Okay, and we could use this recommended book in our home.r under this coming book. Alright, let's sorry. Let's import library. Okay, and let's save. And you're able to see this title. Yeah. Okay. And when I change to the dark mode, you see these texts change to, oh sorry, when I change to the light mode, the text turn black. When I change dark mode, the text turn white, right? So let's go into this recommended book. So we're going to start from here. So first, let's generate a list of recommended book. Need to import library. Recommend book. And remove this constant keyword. So I consider using a list view, but it's horizontal. Make it horizontal. So under this column, so second column would be remember, if you're using list view, which is horizontal, you must give a size, give it height. So I set to, sorry, set to 250, and now we have a child, which will be a list view, separated, and the item count would be recommended list.len. So for the separated builder, and would be just size box. Width set to 15. Make it constant. And for the item builder, so let's see. Here I consider using a stack widget. We're going to manually position this review score. So let's create a stack widget. Inside this stack widget, actually we have the image and the text, right? So we could using the column in this case. So, but first I need to keep the width for the image. So I'm going to use, okay, so first change the direction for this list view would be axis.horizontal, and also for the padding, so constant edged inset.or set to 20. Okay, because we have a padding for left and top and bottom. Okay, so inside, going to return a size the box, and going to set the height. Sorry, should be the width to 130, because the entire list view height would be 250, but for individual the card, we're going to set the width to 130, right? For the individual novel book. And we have a child, as I mentioned. I'm going to use the colon, and we have a children attribute. So for this column, I'm going to set this cross alignment to scratch. Okay, and for it is trial. So let's use the expanded widget. We could use click drag, and we set the border radius. And using border radius circular, and set to 10. Also the child, set to image.ss. And I think so. I want just remove these arrow function, and so I'm going to write a return statement, right? Return statement. So in here, I can just declare a variable for our book. I'm going to recommend it list.index. I can access to our book, right? So I'm going to pass it here, book.image URL, right? So make it nullable. Okay, so and I'm going to set the feed. Okay, let's see. Okay, and feed would be box feed.cover. Okay, and we can save. Yeah, you're able to see the book shown here. So next, let's implement it is text. So for the first one, I'm going to use our padding widget. So because I'm going to keep it padding, we're going to use edge in princess symmetric equal to is imna, and we have a child. For its child, just normal text widget. I'll have a book.name, and I'm going to set the overflow to text overflow.eclipse. Okay. So for the last one, also be a normal text widget. Book.author, and you can style it text style. So make it nullable. So for the text style, we can change the color. Stop gray. Okay, make it constant. So let's save. Okay, now it's pretty much very similar. And maybe I can make a even more 15. Okay, now it seems good. Okay, so next let's implement this position widget. So inside this stack widget, so it should be under this sized box, and let's declare a position widget. I have a child. So for it is child, I just want to create another method, view icon, text. Okay, so let's implement it. Enter this build method. I'm going to return a widget. So I'm going to return a container which contain. Okay, so first padding. .or set to 3, and then we have declaration, box declaration. We're going to change the color black 87, and also the border radius circular 20. Right, this is for the container, but we have a child, right? So for it is child, and let's implement a row widget. So inside this row widget, we have the icon and the text. So we're going to receive those from our parameter icon. And we have color and the text. So inside we have children. So the first one will be icon and color, the color, and size would be 14. This is for our icon. So we have a sized box and the width set to 2, and for the text, we have a text, we have a style, constant text style. Going to change the font size to 12, font weight to bold, and the color white 70. Okay, that's pretty much. And here we're going to pass the star icons star and colors orange, and pretty I think 300 is enough. So the last one from our book dot score. Okay, that's it. So let's save, and you see we have these score showing up. I need to position it, right? So top 10, left 10 as well. So let's save. Okay, now it's pretty good. So let's see our light mode. Okay, theme's good. Okay, I think now I will leave this training book and the detail page in our next video, since I think almost 1 hour would be quite long. So let's stop here. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, sum out my content, and open a notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you in next video.